yesterday, H.R. 4899's Supplemental Appropriations Bill passed the House with inclusions for the war in Afghanistan that encountered a substantial degree of debate during the discussion about it. At the same time, yesterday, across the street at the Dirksen office building, senators from the Committee on Foreign Relations were participating in a hearing entitled Perspectives on Reconciliation Options in Afghanistan. And both of these developments across both houses of Congress indicate an interest across members and senators towards new developments that can help us to yield success in Afghanistan. And I'd particularly like to point out one of the statements from Sister Zainab Salbi, who's the founder and CEO of an organization called Women for Women International, and she spoke at the Senate hearing. And I'm going to quote, she said, with regards to success in Afghanistan, we must craft a participatory approach that has the buy-in of those at the grassroots level. For after all, it is those at the grassroots who will be the critical group in upholding any agreement. And so the question we have to think about is what stakeholders will be able to achieve support and solidarity among grassroots communities in Afghanistan in order to be able to achieve an end to conflict and the promotion of a better quality of life. As we all know, civilian and non-governmental strategies are increasingly being recommended as an important supplement, even an alternative to military strategies. And the Obama administration's civilian surge in Afghanistan is currently undergoing a review by the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. According to a May House subcommittee hearing on Afghanistan reconstruction, the degree of funds given to the civilian uplift are expected to increase 30 to 40% over the April 2010 levels by the end of the year. But when we're thinking about this, we also have to remember that we're experiencing a very low level of public confidence among the Afghan people regarding our military strategy in the country. Corruption is rampant. Civilian casualties threaten public support for our campaign in general, and growing levels of anti-Americanism are being manipulated by ideological interests to foster both national and international divisions. And given the release of 70,000 classified reports through WikiLeaks recently, one can really only expect greater public anger in Afghanistan, as well as misperceptions that the U.S. is anti-Afghan and or anti-Islam. So now more than ever, we need intermediaries that are going to be able to speak to both sides of the conflict and which can achieve equal levels of support from both countries, okay? And now, one potentially underutilized resource involves the capabilities of both Afghan Americans and American Muslims, as we'll be discussing today. It's been 9 years of war, and to our knowledge, there's been no delegation of the American Muslim leadership traveling to Afghanistan to specifically discuss diplomatic alternatives. And keep in mind that this is one of the longest and one of the most expensive wars in U.S. history, and American Muslims are one of the only cultural intermediaries that can address grievances on both sides and also speak to the spiritual identity of Afghans. And conversely, Afghan Americans are continually advocating for a greater role in reconstruction and development, as well as foreign policy. They are one of the only groups in this country that can understand and work with the complex intertribal dynamics in the country, and they have a personal stake in ensuring a better future for their nation. So what we are proposing today, as we'll see with all the speaker comments, is an exploratory congressional delegation which will explore the advantages that an expanded role from the Afghan American and American Muslim constituency can provide to conflict resolution in Afghanistan. And all the speakers today will be discussing prospective stuff that will be covered in this potential delegation. And we hope to use this delegation to collate a policy proposal on the benefits that these constituencies could provide to reconstruction, development, and conflict resolution in the country, and to put them in a policy proposal that will be presented during a hearing of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. And we hope to use this to craft further legislation to support an expanded role from these communities in promoting conflict resolution. So I'd like to begin with our first speaker today. This is Dr. Fareed Yunus. He's a lecturer in human development and anthropology at California State University. He's also a well-known Afghan-American television show host, and as of yesterday, a KPFA radio show guest star, and he's a very intelligent person, and we welcome him to the stage.
Thank you, Matthew, and dear honorable members of Congress, ladies and gentlemen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, most beneficent, most merciful. I thank you for providing this opportunity to discuss the rethinking of Afghanistan, which has become a major foreign policy issue in the 21st century in this country. It was more than 30 years ago that I arrived in Virginia, taking political asylum and beginning my life first as a dishwasher in Blacksburg, Virginia, and now as a professor in California and a host of an Afghan TV talk show. It was on my 34th birthday that I became a US citizen on 21st February 1986 at the United States District Court in Harrisonburg, Virginia. In that ceremony, Dr. Ronald Carrier, then the president of James Madison University, was the guest speaker. He said, and I quote, and I never forget, "When you become a citizen, this does not mean that you should forget the past, but rather you become more responsible for your future as a new citizen." Also, I have learned one important lesson from my new homeland. One person can make a difference. Rosa Parks was a prime example of making not only a difference, but making history. It is on the basis of these two principles, responsibility and making a difference, which is why I'm here today. I sincerely thank you for reviewing my proposal for peace, especially Congressman Kucinich, who made this briefing possible and opened the door for a person who's neither a politician nor a lobbyist, but a simple university lecturer without any political ambition, having only a desire for peace for both my place of birth and my place of residence. One of the strengths of the American political system today is that it relies on our human resources, and I'm proud to be of this cultural mosaic and a contributor as a Muslim Afghan American. We are here today as Muslim Americans to stretch our hand for cooperation, for establishing peace and justice for all. This is because Islam is a religion of peace, justice, and cooperation. We are here today to share with you that the solution for the Afghan crisis relies within Islam. Muslims often grow in Islam within America, which supports human rights, equality between sexes, freedom of press and media, business investment, and justice for all. Concerning Afghanistan, we are dealing with a country for which the entire fabric is Islamic. Hence, the solution should be found within Islam as well. It is my understanding that Afghanistan has become a battleground for all parties. In order to bring peace and stability, Afghanistan must be demilitarized. An international peace conference should be held to declare Afghanistan neutral, non-aligned, and demilitarized. This way, the arms race will stop in the region, and remember that Afghanistan is the heart of Asia. Her peace is key to the peace of the region, and her tranquility will lay the foundation for tranquility of the region. The common denominator of all Afghan nation is Islam. 99.9% of Afghans are Muslims. It is only Islam that can unify the nation, provided that the right leadership comes into place. Ideas such as partitioning of Afghanistan or decentralization of Afghanistan, which I read in Newsweek, July 26, 2010, will decry America as an imperial power that believes in the old concept of divide and rule, and will increase resistance, radicalism, and bloodshed, and will never be forgiven by Afghans or Muslims at large. Our job as a democracy is liberation, not partition. Therefore, we need to support an Islamic democratic system that meets the cultural and socio-political needs of the people and safeguards the economic and strategic interests of the United States. We should not be afraid of an Islamic government. It is in the benefit of the United States as well as Afghanistan and the region. One reason that Islamic radicalism is on the rise is because we do not support Islamic political systems, and therefore we are stigmatized as anti-Muslim. Politics is a game of winning hearts in the mind of people, not forcing or imposing foreign or unnatural ideas. America supporting an Islamic political system will gain the trust of 1.1 billion Muslims worldwide, diminish the growing power of China, contain the Russian interference of the Muslim Federation, dilute the interference of Iran